Hey gamers, it's grindthisgame here with a video about how I built this lake house here. This is the final product. It looks kind of like a greenhouse, but this video is going to be a light commentary, just the build with all the grinding, or most of the grinding cut out. Kind of start off with 4 concrete pillars on the outside here. It's an 8x4 building. But I won't be talking much unless I'm just kind of outlining particular pieces of the build. Now, laying out elements in this game are sometimes frustrating. You have to get the mouse just in the right place, so it's a little bit frustrating, but I spent a lot of time grinding before this, getting all the materials. That little wood structure down there is kind of like my temporary home while I build this. Now, this is on a outpost. I thought about doing this in one of those 30-day missions where you can just do whatever you want. But I decided to build it in the outpost because I didn't want to lose it. At the end of the 30-day missions, they delete everything. So I figured safer to build it in the outpost. The only downside of the outpost is there's no predators. And for now, there's no variety of food. There's no pumpkins or squash or a lot of the coffee and tea and stuff. It's just berries, meat, and a few other things, lilies, and it's pretty limited though. But I'll kind of shut up here and let you just kind of watch the build here. So this is kind of the first floor done. I still need to put the floor in. This is the ceiling of the first floor. I'm mainly going with stone in this building, but I'm going to use some wood as well. The bottom floor is going to be like a basement where I have my workshop. Second floor is going to be a kitchen and eventually a bedroom, but I don't have the points yet. The talent points to get the blueprint points to get the furniture yet. So I'm going to have to go do some leveling to be able to get that in there. But we'll get back to the build. I don't know what was up with this deer, but it was wanting to peek inside my my hut. I wanted to use a lot of glass in this build because I'm kind of overlooking a little island on the lake with a view of the mountains. But glass is pretty expensive to make. Concrete's even more expensive. You need a lot of cement, and you also need a lot of steel, rebar and stuff. But that's my first glass panel. Eventually this will be a full row of glass. I also wanted to have a big deck that went out onto the lake with a little dock. There's no boats in the game, but I wanted to build a dock anyway. And that's where I'll probably jump off to get my fish when I need to cook some fish meals. You actually have to have stability. There's a stability mechanic in the game. Later on, you'll see when I build my roof at the top, I'll need pillars to go all the way down through down to the ground in order to support all this stuff. But for some reason, this dock, it allowed me to just build like many tiles out without it having an issue. Not sure why. I don't really get the building mechanic. It's a little bit. Sometimes when I build this in a non-outpost setting, it just collapses. So I don't know what's going on here. But for some things, I definitely needed stability, or things would crumble. Just putting in the final basement stone floor. Now, unfortunately, I was building on uneven ground, so you can see a little bit of green pops through there. Here we are back in the mines. There's about 4 or 5 caves on this outpost map, and every time you save the game and exit and come back in, some of the metal respawns. I built a little bit of a walkway in here, so makes it a bit easier. And I set up all my furnaces plus dehumidifier here in the cave so that I wouldn't get pneumonia all the time. But like I said, I'm not going to show much of the grinding, just tiny slices of it to show you where I went and materials I got. Now, I tried to build slightly higher than this level so I wouldn't have this issue, but you can't... I couldn't get the sweet spot where the floor wouldn't show through, so that's just going to be a permanent fixture in my base, which is okay, I guess. I wanted glass almost entirely on the side that faces the lake. I thought about building on the island as well, but decided just to build on land facing the little island. Now these columns aren't needed, so I'm going to remove them. It was kind of an organic process. I did a lot of stuff and then undid some stuff and found later on that I needed a certain stairway, so I added that. And then when I went to go build the roof, I had to change the columns around a bit. But it was a fun process. Ultimately, it took like about... I did all the grinding for a lot of tier 4 stuff. So it ended up taking like, I don't know, 15 hours of gameplay, but a lot of that was tier 4 grinding. I just also wanted to experiment with a lot of the different building materials and sizes. So here's the stairway going to what will be the 3rd floor, kind of the roof area. But still lots of grinding to do to get all that stuff. Here I'm looking at aluminum roof, concrete roof, and glass roof. I just wanted to kind of see what they look like and which one I was going to use. Ultimately, I used a mix of concrete roof, the green one, and the glass for the view. It's cool that when you destroy these, they all have their own little effects and sounds. I found I kept... The front entrance is on the other side of the house, but I kept going to the workshop, so I decided to put a doorway here with an aluminum wall and a wood door. Here's where I hit the stability issue. You can see that panel I just put up starting to degrade and crack, and eventually it'll fall, so I hit Y to deconstruct it before it disintegrates. Because if it disintegrates on its own, I lose all the materials. So after much fiddling around, I tried to build columns here, wood columns, couldn't get it to work. And then ultimately what I had to do was go down to the basement, right down to the ground, and build columns and support them all the way through and up. So you can see here, it's still going to disintegrate. So down we go, one floor. Put some columns right through the center. And this wasn't enough, so I had to go down to the basement. You can see it's still disintegrating. So I went all the way to the bottom and removed some of the columns that were just off-center, and then put the columns in the middle. And that finally fixed the stability issue. Now at this point it wasn't quite finished. There's a few finishing touches I wanted to do, and it's probably still never going to be finished, but screenshot time. Looks pretty good. Nice giant gas giant in the background there. And I decided to put some windows just looking out the long axis of the building. Originally I had kind of like a diamond pattern here and it looked nice, but there was no way to fill it in with windows, so just went with this triangle kind of look. And then I just started to move in, put the kitchen in first. The rest of the video is mainly me moving from one building to the other, and also grinding out some of the last tier 4 stuff. And I thought it looked too much like a warehouse, so I built that little windowy thing up there. I decided to later on make that kind of too wide. Here we are putting the fireplace in, nice and cozy. I was going to make internal rooms, but I decided to keep it pretty open concept. When I do get the bedroom stuff later on, I'll make a separate room with a door. On the other side of this floor, which is pretty empty right now. Here we are putting in the workbenches. This is on the bottom floor, what I'm calling the workshop. Obviously I cut out lots of moving materials around here. This probably took about 20 minutes to move everything over. 15 minutes. Now before I built this building, I had already built a fabricator, but I hadn't built the electric furnace or the material processor. Here's the fabricator going in. We got our 3 workbenches, kind of tier 1, 2, and 3. I guess this is tier 4. The furnace in there. Now I had one of these concrete furnaces in the cave that I was mining at, so that I could refine the gold into bars before bringing it back, so it's lighter. Now I hit a snag with the biofuel composter. Oh, here we are, night scene. Looks pretty nice. Get an idea of what it looks like at night. And morning. So yeah, the biofuel can that I had for some reason didn't work. Here we go with the roof with the little pop-out room. Just needed to break it up. It looked like a barn. A barn or a greenhouse, so I had to like add something else to it. If I was going for full modern style, I probably would have done everything in concrete and glass and did a flat roof, but I decided to go with the sloped roof. So the way I got around the biofuel thing was to create a brand new biofuel can, and that worked. The old can would never work. I think it's a bug, a known bug, but pretty frustrating when you're trying to get the power going. Now I'm about to prepare the first deluxe meal here in the new house, in the new kitchen. Cooking uses up quite a bit of fuel. And if you leave that can in there, it empties out completely without even cooking, so hopefully they fix that as well. I kept running to the other side of the house to go down the stairs, so I put a stairway right here by the kitchen. So there's a stairway on either side now. Makes it a little easier to get around. here you can see that biofuel bug. It's making fuel, but it's not going in the can. So I had to delete this can and make a new one. Kind of unfortunate, but eventually it worked. And then I had to build a bunch of circuits for the material processor, so we hit the mines again for probably like an hour of mining, which I'll cut out. Smelted some gold bars and copper bars and then brought them back to the base to make some more circuits. Quite the grind. I've already done it, the full tier 4 grind, I think 3 times now in various missions, so it's a little bit easier to plan for and to know what to expect. The material processor, it says high voltage, but it actually doesn't require any power. And it makes stuff so much faster than the mortar and pestle. Like if you need to make tree sap, it makes it like almost instant. I was going to delete my material processor to get the electronics back to make the electric furnace, but I decided just to grind through it and keep both because I like the material processor, how fast it is. So we finally get this electric furnace down, several hours of grinding later. And now we need to hook it up using the wire tool, so put my generator down in a different place here. Get some biofuel in it from the fixed biofuel can, the brand new one I made. Make sure it goes in the fuel spot. And then connected the generator over to... I always connect it to the ground first if I want to branch off, and then I connect it to the electric furnace to cook up those composites. This isn't really part of the build, but it's kind of where I ended up finishing off. The next thing I'm trying to build is solar panels so that I can stop using biofuel. And I want to put a fridge in so I can store my food in an electric fridge, because there's no ice on this map. The only problem with solar panels is that they don't run at nighttime, so my food will start to rot at night. There's no kind of batteries yet. If there were batteries, we could get around that, but... That's pretty much it for the build. I'll probably be refining this place a little bit more and adding bedrooms and adding more decorations and stuff, but hope you enjoyed this build of the kind of off-grid lake house. It was fun to build, and should be there forever as long as they don't delete the outposts or it gets bugged out. But let me know in the comments if you think I should add anything or change the design up a bit. It certainly was fun to build though. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you like these videos in general, hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. Helps the channel. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye bye.